I used to watch my grandma and my neighbor make white butter out of yogurt. We call this makhan in Gujarati or makhan in Hindi. This method of making butter and ghee from yogurt goes back thousands of years, all the way back to ancient India, and has been the common way of making ghee and butter for millennia. Due to the hot climate in India, it made sense for ancient Indians to turn their fresh milk into yogurt for preservation. This yogurt was then turned into butter, chash, and eventually the butter was turned into ghee. This cultured butter has a higher percentage of butyric acid, which leads to a little bit of a tangy and slightly funky flavor in the butter. And then this butter is turned into ghee. The butyric acid remains, giving that ghee a slightly tangy and funky flavor. So let's get started. This is a 2-ingredient recipe. I'm going to just start with the cream. Typically when my grandma made butter out of yogurt, she would skim off the malai off of her yogurt every morning and save the malai for a few days and then collect all of that and make the ghee. I don't make yogurt every day and I don't have malai to skim off. So what I'm doing is I'm starting off my yogurt with heavy cream. I'm going to make this in the Instant Pot, but you can also easily make this on the stovetop. Just going to pour the cream into the Instant Pot. And I'm using heavy whipping cream here. Press yogurt. There. So this has come to a boil. I'm going to turn the Instant Pot off. Just hit cancel. Then I'm going to just open the lid. And I'm going to let this cool for about an hour. The cream has now cooled so that it's warm to the touch. I'm going to mix in the cream that has come to the top and just kind of let it mix back in. Then I'm going to add the yogurt. I'm just going to whisk lightly. Now set the yogurt to 24 hours. Put the lid back on. Make sure it's set to venting. So it's been a little over 24 hours, so I'm going to check on the yogurt. Okay, that looks nice and set. So I'm just going to transfer it to a container and refrigerate it. So just pouring it in. There is plenty of whey in there, but as you can see, it is also fully done. I'm just going to refrigerate this for a few hours so that it is cold when I make the white butter or makhan. Let's make the butter from the yogurt. So I'm going to use a Vitamix, but any high-powered blender will work. Transfer the yogurt. Turn it on. So now I'm going to add some ice water to rinse off the butter. My mom insists that I have to use my hands here, but you could certainly use a strainer or a cheesecloth. I'm gonna grab all the butter and then rinse it a couple more times. I'll show you in a second. So I made all of my butter in batches and I have a good amount here. And I'm just going to rinse it all one more time to try to get as much of that whey out as possible. So I'm going to use ice water to rinse. So just kind of squish it together. It's looking pretty good. And do this one more time. So this is basically what we call chash. It's just the whey, and this is a amazing, refreshing drink with a little bit of salt and cumin, or you can make masala chash with this with a little bit of cilantro and toasted cumin, and it's just a really fantastic and refreshing drink in the summer. So I'm going to set this aside and put it in the refrigerator with a little bit of salt and cumin to drink later. And I have my white butter or makhar, and so you could eat this as is. It's fantastic with parathas or thepla, or you can turn this into ghee. So we're gonna make some ghee with it. So you can store this as is in the refrigerator. You can also store this in a little bit of water to make it last a little bit longer. I know that traditionally it was stored in the chash. Let's make some ghee. So I'm going to transfer my butter to a heavy bottomed pan. I'm using a small Dutch oven here. Set the heat to medium and let the butter melt. Keep an eye on the heat level. You want to bring it to a simmer and make sure that it does not burn. So if you need to reduce the heat, if it starts to boil too much, you can keep an eye on it. I'm going to start removing some of the foam here. Just skim it off with a slotted spoon. Looks like this is pretty close to done. I can see that the bottom is starting to brown and milk solids have all dropped to the bottom. And so I'm going to turn off the heat and let it cool. Okay, so the ghee has cooled and I'm just going to transfer it. I'm going to start by transferring into a measuring cup, and then I'll strain it out into a jar. Okay. And I love saving the milk solids because they make an excellent addition to any kind of a dessert, anything from cakes to pancakes to Indian sweets. Just add the leftovers. I save them in my fridge until I'm making something that's sweet. And I just add that into any recipe and it just adds a wonderful milky caramel flavor. Okay. Just going to strain the ghee. There it is. Traditional Indian ghee made with yogurt.